I'm Dawn Westmoreland, hailing from Asheville, North Carolina, the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, hailing from WPVM LP FM 103.7, the voice of Asheville. Every week, I talk about the workplace. Now, the workplace could be working for somebody, it could be the employee, the employer, it could be an entrepreneur, it could even be people in the military. And today we're going to talk about that. And I'm so excited because I have a military veteran, Dr. Joy Wright, and Summer Watson is a fantastic spouse of a Marine officer who is also retired. And myself, it's hard to believe, but I'm retired from the Air Force myself. So let me give you a little background. Dr. Joy Bloom is a graduate of the United States Naval Academy and one of the first women to assist with the integration of women on aircraft carriers. She served as an active duty naval flight officer in the F-14 Tomcat. That's impressive. She has a master's in psychology, a doctorate in organizational development, and she's the president and co-founder of Launch Team Consulting. My mouth's a little dry today. So let's stop right there because introduce Summer. Summer is a former psychologist. She's in charge of Core Women. Your podcast, you have the Life, Love, Money Show and Core Women, and you're out there empowering women. Summer, welcome to both of you.
Thank you, Dawn.
So we're going to talk about Launch Team Consulting, and I understand Ray Leonard Jr. is a part of that too. And if you're not familiar with who he is, he's the oldest son of Sugar Ray boxing, and that's my era too. So ladies, welcome. What is Launch Team Consulting about?
Well, first of all, Dawn, thank you so much for having us on today. It's an honor to be on your show, and always an honor to be on with Summer as well. She's an incredible person. Launch Team Consulting is a company Ray Leonard Jr. and I started back in 2013. We were both doing similar work. And after I got out of the military, I was medically retired. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and had to start over again, reinventing myself. And what I found was one of the things I loved when I was active duty was training, and Ray did that on kind of in the sports celebrity side of the house. And we joined forces together and started doing that where we do a lot of training for the military and corporate and nonprofit. So we just continue the work we did in the military, which I love. So Launch Team Consulting works on leadership, management, change management, growth and resiliency, and diversity and inclusion, just to help in the workplace in your organization.
I know when I got out of the Air Force, it was pretty easy for me to transition, but I understand it's not really easy for everyone else. I mean, they might have a job that doesn't really translate to the civilian world. How do you help them, Joy?
So I think opening up for communication, like for me, you know, when I found out I was going to have to stop flying because, I was a backseater in the F-14, and it was a job where I could not believe I got paid from any of the aircraft I was in, even in all the training. I could not believe it was something I got paid to do. And then serving my country, like it was a love I had since middle school that I wanted to do that, and dreamt about it. So when I found out that door was closing, it was hard. And so for people that are in that transition phase, start talking to people, that communication, because initially I was kind of just, I was down and it was hard, and that's not my personality. My personality is to find the next thing and keep going. But it was tough at that time. So I think there are resources out there, your show, Summer's show, like that, where you can listen. And there's so many people that offer so much advice and solutions that can help. And we'll talk about our conference in a little while, but something like that just jumpstarts you. I wish I'd had that back in 2000 when I was transitioning out.
This Summer, are you also involved in Launch Team?
I am not involved in Launch Team, but I work directly with Joy, Dr. Wright, Joy Wright, and Ray. So I feel like I'm there and we do lots of different things together. So, and there's a lot of commonalities between all of us actually here. And those commonalities are transition. That's one of them. Being women, and also, reinventing ourselves. What did that look like for each and every one of us? And here's the fourth thing. Stories like these change lives. So as Dr. Wright was saying, I wish that when I was going through different things in my life, I had some of the things that are out there now, such as podcasts, such as this show, such as, there's just so much now that we can access that can really help jumpstart transition, jumpstart change. So I do want to step back for a moment, though, because I think it's really important, and something that Dr. Wright touched on. When she got out several years ago of the military and she had to transition out, not by her own choice, but because of something that was happening to her own body, it was sad. It was difficult. It felt like a loss. And I know that I have a sister-in-law who also got out of the Marine Corps, and she retired, but it was separated at the time, and she got out on her own because she started having children. And she said, it felt like such a loss for her that she wasn't of the character to sit on the bathtub and cry, but she's like, you know what? I found myself sitting there just tearful. And I thought to myself, it's okay to be in that place. It's okay to experience that loss. But then how do we figure out those next steps? How do we then move forward? And that's what we talk about here a lot of times is transition. How do we do that? And I think another thing I love that you mentioned, Dr. Wright, is how do we surround ourselves by other people that are going through that? And that is so helpful. So helpful. So thanks, Dawn, for allowing us to be here today, because this is such a great platform for telling these stories and for sharing our experiences. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad to have you, and I know our listeners are too. And one thing I've learned about stories, it builds trust, connection, and engaging relationships. So
Absolutely.
What's next for both of you? What's going on? Do you have any events coming up? Any training that we should hear about?
Dr. Watson.
No, I'm going to let you talk about it, Dr. Wright.
We are so excited. One of the things, Dr. Watson, Dr. Summer, I call her as well. When we talk about like-minded people, she's an incredible person, and our team that we're working with, that's what I love. And one of the commonalities I feel like we have is wanting to help others kind of go on. All of us have been through something, and you're in that moment where you want that growth or you want that transformation, but you don't know how to do it. What's the next step? So we came together, although we have other, consulting opportunities that we're doing as well. We felt like, why don't we team up and provide a conference that we can do around the country and on different dates. Our next one is February. We're going to have one this February 25th, 2023, but then we'll continue to have more dates after that. And what we're looking at is growth, resiliency, intention, transformation, and connection, which is GRITConn. So it's all of those words, and that's our acronym. My business partner, Ray Leonard Jr., always teases me because the military has so many acronyms, so we had to add our own as well. And now we have the Marine Corps, Air Force, and Navy covered, so we're all familiar with our acronyms. But the big thing about this conference is helping others take that next step. And like Dr. Watson said as well, is when you're in that kind of holding pattern and you're trying to figure out, what do I do next? That's what we want to provide in this conference, is helping people not only have that jump start, but have those tools to take away to figure out how to go down that path and kind of get jump started when you do have those little transitions in life or need of a transformation.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
That's pretty exciting. And why did you pick those different things like resiliency, grit? How did you come up with those, and why did you come up with those?
Dr. Watson came up with it, so I'm gonna let her talk about it. Yeah.
Well, here's what I did, because I am a researcher by trade and by nature. And so I decided I would start looking online and looking at some of the things that people wanted, that people were looking for, that really resonated with folks. And as I was doing my research, some of those things were resiliency, being intentional about our choices, having that grit, what does that grit mean? What does that mean to other people? And having that growth, that personal and professional growth, resiliency, being intentional about our choices, transformation. So everything we're talking about every day that I saw on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, these are topics that people talk about daily. And I thought, well, how am I going to put that together? And we were laughing about this because I'm a late night person. And I was like, okay, writing this down. What does this look like? GRITConn. Yes. And we love to connect. I love to connect people. And so when I thought about all the things that I do, both digital and in-person seminars, I thought, why am I doing this? To connect people, to bring people together. And so that's why we ended up calling it GRITConn. So the team liked it, it stuck, and here we are. We're doing GRITConn. So
yeah, Dr. Watson comes up with a lot of light bulb aha moments where you're like, oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
She is
Oh,
definitely.
thank you.
So when somebody attends this, you say it's in San Diego.
It is.
That's
It
a
is.
beautiful area. What can they expect to get out of it?
That's great. Do you mind if I step in here, Dr. Wright? Okay.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I want to take a bit of a step back because I do want to let people know that who it's for. So it's for emerging entrepreneurs. It's for active duty separating or retiring from the military. It's for military spouses. It's for people looking to for a second career or to scale up in their current careers. It's for those who are looking to just jumpstart their professional, where they are with their professional skill set and such. So getting on to the gains and the takeaways for the participants. So it really is understanding how to design their journey now. What do they want that journey to look like? It's cultivating a success mindset. We always talk about mindset. And one of the first things that we really need to get clear with is, what do I want? How do I want to do it? And what is my mindset right now? So sometimes we have to be in the moment and experience what that is. So if you're transitioning out, like Dr. Wright went through a transition in the military, you did as well, Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister-in-law and my husband, what was your mindset? And did you let yourself experience what that was? And so from there, how do you move forward? So these are the next steps. So we're going to have speakers talking about those next steps, and they're going to be incredible next steps for people to start starting their transition, knowing how to apply the skill set they already possess and just switch it around and transition that into something that is of purpose and meaning and intention for them. And then it's about learning and meeting new people, learning about new people, meeting new people, and coming together and connecting. Here's the biggie for me. It's not just networking. This is not what this is about. This is going to be an experience. And it's taking it from networking to relationship building. And to me, that's meaningful. It's not just transactional. It's not just, here's a business card, let's talk. No, it's let's get to know each other. This is a great opportunity to do that.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And Dawn, it ends with a social, like what Dr. Watson was saying, with the incredible speakers and what's there. We wanted to end the day where you can open up with the people that are there, from authors to podcasters to military members to writers. I mean, everybody's, even our DJ is an actor. He's been in that world and does speaking engagements. So we wanted that opportunity, because when I said I found that transition point for me in the military, if I had that chance for a few hours just to talk to people, I knew what I loved to do besides flying, but just that opportunity, like, for you, Dawn, coming there and talking to people for guests on the shows, it could be the next person to help someone else, talk about their transition and transformation. So we just felt like the whole day should be something where we kind of jumpstart and send them off, not just motivated for that day, but tools for the rest of the year. Yeah.
Amazing.
And we're going to have amazing speakers. Tammy Barlett, who is retired from the military, who runs Athena's Voice, which is a nonprofit. we are going to have Prince Daniels Jr., who was part of the NFL and now has transitioned into his own business. And he also does a podcast weekly with Ray. We are also going to have Leslie Rasmussen, who worked in the entertainment industry, and how she made a transition in her life and what that looked like for her. We also are going to have a mentalist there. So it's going to be an experience. And then we're going to have the after party mixer for us to all connect and just have a great time.
That is awesome. As I said before, so you're going to take this on the road and you're going to also do it across the United States? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, because I'm on the West Coast, Dr. Watson's on the East Coast. We wanted to kind of cover different areas. I'm originally from Alabama. With the military, we've been in many different cities. So the hope is to reach as many people as we can.
Absolutely. And I grew up in California and migrated, well, across the United States, and now ended up in DC. So, there's people that we know all over the globe, right? Just being military, what that looks like. And so lived in Japan for 3 years, but we're going to keep it in the States for now, but take the show on the road.
So you're both producers, and how do people find out more about, signing up for GRITConn? Where would they go to?
Well, they can go to any one of our pages. So they can go to my LinkedIn page. We have a landing page for GRITConn. You can go to my Core Women Instagram site. So you can go up into the bio and click right on the link. So I have an Instagram site, Core Women, Kore Women on Instagram. I am on LinkedIn. I am also on Facebook. So you can go to any one of our sites and you'll be able to access GRITConn immediately.
Now, if somebody
Absolutely.
cannot go to San Diego because the timing's not right, do you have a email list where they can sign up and find out about future events?
Absolutely. We are right now, if they wanted to just email us at gritcon@gmail.com, they could do that and we could get their email and put their name on a list. Absolutely.
Do you mind spelling GRITConn just so everybody knows what GRITConn is?
GRITCONN @gmail.com. Yes.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ray Leonard Jr. is going to be speaking at this event also?
We're actually going to have a production panel. Go ahead, Joy.
Oh yeah, they choose this a production panel where our team is going to answer questions, and so we wanted to bring in the guest speakers. They're incredible, but we wanted the opportunity for y'all to hear from Dr. Watson and Ray Leonard Jr. and Jen, our financial person, and we just the team. Like every meeting, I leave more motivated each week. So that's what we all felt like that we'll offer that as well in the conference.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 panels. And as Dr. Wright said, one of these panels is going to consist of all the producers of GRITConn. So essentially, we're going to have 3 primary speakers. We're going to have 2 panels. We're going to have the mentalist. There's going to be so much here for every single participant to take away and walk away with something, because there are going to be so many incredible speakers that are going to be present, including the guests, because I know that I'm going to meet guests there that I'm going to be really excited and leave knowing someone else that I can connect with and make a relationship with. I'm just so excited about this. This is going to be wonderful.
Absolutely.
So after the event and somebody goes home and they want to continue with what they've learned, can they reach out to either one of you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, through our, our website has an email too on the launchteamconsulting.com. After any event, both Dr. Watson and I do, that's important to us, is the connection aspect is not just the one day and you're motivated. Now, what do I do with it? We love that.
Yeah.
That connection relationship aspect of it to continue and answer questions. I felt like I had mentors once I started reaching out finally, you know, and got out of that like rut where I'm like, I have to make this change. And that's really important to me, is to help whoever we can and continue that further than just the day.
Yeah. And I love what you said about that, Dr. Wright, about mentorship. Early on in my career in working in a nonprofit and building large community collaborations, I really had two incredible mentors. And those two women, one oversaw my counseling component, the other oversaw the community building aspect of what I did. And I can say that was just, it was so meaningful. They were so intentional. They supported me. And I want to do the same and have been doing the same with other folks and young folks out there. And so we are also going to have volunteers who are from the local universities helping us with GRITConn the day of.
Amazing.
That's great. And even the production team, like although Dr. Watson and I are on the production team together, I think a week and a half ago, you know, I'm on Pacific time, West Coast, she's on East Coast. And with her background in counseling, I had a couple of questions for her. And because sometimes even as a CEO of a company and stuff, you know, you still reach out to people and need that mentorship and support. And she stayed on the phone, I think, till 2 a.m. her time. And although we work together and we're producing this together, she was helping me. And so that's that mentorship, no matter what, where we are in the, you know, working together, mentoring someone starting out, it's very important. And I saw that she's, you know, says it, but I saw it firsthand for me.
Thanks, Dr. Wright.
Yeah,
and you know what? That's what we're all about here. We're all about lifting up community, supporting and connecting folks to each other. You know that we both love to do that, Dawn. We love to connect folks and grow our communities and see how we can help and support one another. And I know you do that too, Dr. Wright. So thank you. Thank you both.
And it's a big word, mentorship, these days, because a lot of people need it. If somebody gets a mentor, a good mentor, what can they expect to get out of it?
I think that, you know, if someone is coming, come with a list of questions. You know, that's very important, because sometimes the mentor wants to help you, but there's certain things that you want answered first. And obviously not everyone is exactly the same, and not everyone's path is the same. So I think be transparent on what your goals are and what your dreams are and things like that. And it's okay to not know. Like I recently read a book about the area that the people live the longest, you know, and they talk about reinventing yourself over and over and over, and how important that is at whatever age you are, and not just being stagnant. So if you're mentoring and you come to that mentor and go, I don't want to reach out yet because I don't even know what I want to do, I think still reach out, because it's okay to ask those questions and not know what that path is yet. And I have two, one in college right now, and one that's doing acting and stuff. And I'll ask their friends, oh, what are you doing now? And they'll say, you know, it's that path where I have no idea. I'm like, that's okay. I love that when you're in this phase of figuring it out. That's a great place to be, as long as you keep looking.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Summer,
Joy,
did you have something to say?
Well, Joy has, is it 3 boys, 2 boys?
3 boys.
3 boys,
Oh,
and a set are twins. So that's who she was referring to. And so she's just, you know, with her boys, she's juggling a lot and learning a lot. And this is the things that I learned from her about her kids and what they're doing and going through is amazing. And what they have to deal with now versus what we dealt with, you know, and it looks different. But here's the thing, we're all human. And so we all experience the same emotions. It may not be the same situations, but we have the same emotions. And so how we respond versus react to those things looks very different. And yet we have choice. I always say choice is our superpower, right? So, but in regards to mentorship, I believe it's an opportunity. It's always an opportunity. It's what you make of it. And I love what Joy said. Come in with your questions. Come in with an open mind. Come in as it set out as an opportunity. This is an opportunity. And it's also an opportunity for the mentee to and the mentor to learn. You're learning from each other.
Mhm.
So, and I think that when you open your mind, even as the mentor or mentee, that it's a learning experience for the both of you, I think that makes it all the better and so much more rewarding. And it's also an opportunity to strategize with somebody who has complete objectivity for the most part, right? And through that use their expertise, utilize that and say, you know what, you've done A, B, and C. How might I strategize A, B, or C for me? Once they spark that, they get the spark of, oh, that's my passion, or that's going to be my purpose, or, you know, and also realize you already hold a set of skills, but how do you just transition those skills and apply them in a different way? So,
Absolutely. And I think that mentor also, you know, as coming in with your list, the actual mentor, I think, has that resources. I think in the military, Dr. Watson as a military spouse, and Dawn in the Air Force active duty, and for me in the Navy, we learn very quickly to use our resources when someone has a question. Oh, I have this person I know that does this in the Air Force, or does this in the Coast Guard, or does, and we help them connect with that person. And you already talked about connection. So I think that that is so important in the mentorship process. We don't know all. I definitely don't know all about all the branches of the service, but I'm going to try my hardest to get them in the right, you know, path or connection to the person that can answer those questions. And so I think that that relationship, being open and transparent about your goals and dreams, is really important.
We're getting down to the last few minutes, and I want to talk about confidence, because right now we live in times of change, and there's a lot of fear, collectiveness of fear, which fear is not our friend. How are you both helping people to have more confidence in their life, whether it's personal life or business life?
For one of my sons, Dr. Watson talked about, he's in social media and you know, works with where he's interacting. And I just asked him this. I dropped him off for a flight last night, and I was talking to him about confidence, because Dr. Watson and I had this long conversation about it, because they get a lot of comments that are, you know, a lot that are really positive, but those couple of percent that are really mean, I'm like, how do you handle that? Does that hurt your confidence? And he goes, you know, a lot of times I'll try to skip over them and focus on the good ones, but I also realize that other people are getting that. You don't have to be in the social media influence world to know that other people feel that and get knocked down. So surround yourself with people where you pick each other up, and it's a two-way street. So, you know, we have our Monday meetings, and I feel like people, you know, when Dr. Watson comes up with a great idea, the team is like, that's a great idea. You know, we're not pulling each other down. And I think that get on that. You're not going to have everybody that wants you to succeed or win, but if you can find that circle, and even if it's small, find that group that picks you up, and that really does help with the confidence side. Because I think we live in a world where, you know, we're publicly out there, and people do like to pull people down. So try to find the ones that don't, and read the quotes that are the glass half full and the more positive. I think we're not going to have it all, but know that there are people out there that do that.
Summer, any comments really quickly?
well, I would just say, you know, tap into your internal confidence, tap into your internal joy, tap into and understand your personal values, because I think that lends to your personal confidence. So I will close with that. But again, I'm going to reiterate, surround yourself with people that are going to be supportive.
Absolutely.
It's been an honor to have you both on. And for the sake of the listeners who can tune in at any time, let us know how we can reach out to either one of you to find also about GRITConn, the conference in San Diego in February, and any other resources you want to provide.
I'll let you go, Dr. Wright.
Well, I think the GRITConn resources, our Eventbrite, and Dr. Watson will talk about that, and our Instagram. I think that's the best source. But for our business, for Launch Team Consulting, www.launchteamconsulting.com is where Ray Leonard Jr. and I do our consulting side, but we have information about the conference on there as well.
Awesome. And if you go to Core Women, that's KORE women.com, there will be a pop-up related to the conference right there when you sign in to the website, and you can find me on most social media platforms. So with that said, Dawn.
Ladies, thank you for transforming people, empowering people, and doing good work.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for having us.
Absolutely.